Hey YouTube, what's up everyone? Thank you for coming back to my channel. If you guys don't know me by now or watch some of my videos, I'm Spiritualist. Hey, so I've started a podcast on on YouTube as well to it's a day in the life as a spiritualist, and I'm gonna post this video on YouTube, and then I'm gonna probably post it on my podcast because a day in the life as a spiritualist is like the things that I encounter on on a daily basis, and products and stuff that I buy for to help elevate, and tips and just all kinds of cool stuff. I already have one video already posted, so if you guys want to check that out, um, I'm sure you'll be able to find my podcast once, like you click on my page or whatever. You guys don't forget, if you guys like the content that I bring to you guys, make sure that you guys like and subscribe to my channel so you guys can be on my journey with me. I decided to do this recording outside because right now it's really windy where I'm at, and I'm really connected to the earth elements and elementals and the wind. And so while I'm recording this, I know we're going to probably get some activity around, so I kind of wanted to capture some of the things that might, happen while talking about this situation that happened to me today. So let me get started. So right now, this is a really big tree that's in front of my house, and I go to it and I talk to it and stuff like that. They give me wisdom and give me messages. As you see, it's blowing really hard right now. So as my ancestors and spirit confirms the things that I talk about, you'll see the wind pick up and then like the tree moving for confirmation, as you see right now. This is just truly magical. But yeah, so we'll see what happens and the things that go on as I'm talking to you guys about this experience. So first off today, I'm at work, and I'm working with a coworker of mine that I hardly don't get a chance to work with, but lately, like, he's been like working for me, and I knew there was some type of significance when he started working for me, because the one day he was picking up, he decided to do 2 days. And so basically I was like, okay, like, I'll do it, because normally when it's meant for me to take time off, or for spiritual practices, or to do the things I need to do, I always take that as a sign of it being significant, on my life path, on my journey. And so, he's worked for me for like basically like all of March, and this will be kind of like the first week where he didn't pick up for me for whatever reason, but excuse me, affirmation. So I do understand now why he's this is transpiring. But anyway, so we're working together, and he's overheard me like some weeks ago talking to a coworker about some of the spiritual things that I do, and We're talking about the birth charts and the natal chart and how they work and how they can tell you things. And I could see he was really like intrigued. But he was all like, he would like for me to do a reading for him. And so I don't know if you guys see that bird just flew out of nowhere. Um, um, what was I saying? Oh my God, I got that brain fart. So, we kind of left it at that. And, I see him, and I'll speak or whatnot. But today we actually work together. And we started talking a little bit about spirituality. And I was telling him, like I didn't forget about him. And as far as him wanting a reading done, like I told him, is always when you feel like ready, to get one done. Because I didn't know how spiritual he was. Or, I just knew he was very interested and very intrigued about what I do. And so we started talking, and then he mentions to me about, oh my gosh, the wind is starting to pick up. I don't know if you guys hear my wind chimes too. And so, like the tree look like it's like leaning towards me. It's kind of creepy a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he was like, he said that he's noticed like his attitude, like he has a temper, and he was telling me how he feels like it's rooted, like it's something like more deep than what it is. Like he says he doesn't know why at times like he can get like really here we go, angry. And so like I told him from my perspective, like the first thing that came to my mind, like it's not like a childhood like trauma, or for him to have like this anger, or where this anger is stemming from. Like I did really feel like it was something deep, but it had nothing to do with like him having trauma, throughout his life, if his parents were not around or anything like that. And so we kind of left it at that, and then we picked up talking again, and then he was like throwing like almost like little hints to me, and I was picking them up, but I was just like what is he getting at, and he was talking about his name, and he was saying that his name means I forgot what he told me what his name means, but I remember vividly he was said that his name, I told him, I said, well, your name, I said, means something else that's deeper, probably in another language. And he goes, well, according to Hebrew, he goes, it's called beloved one. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. And he kind of opened up a little bit more, and he goes, I feel that it's possible like I'm some type of guardian. And I'm like, what? And look. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And when I look at him, it's almost like I recognize him. And I'm like, oh my, like you look like somebody that like I know, like you look like someone. And while I'm talking about this is crazy because I had a dream about one of the archangels that had came to me. And so, anyway, I'll go back to that and explain why I kind of brought that up. And so I'm looking at him and I'm like, dude. And the spirit was like, tell him Clark Kent. And I go, so Clark Kent? I was like, really? And he starts laughing and he goes, I get that. And I was like, no fucking way. And he was like, yeah, like, I get Clark Kent like a lot. Look. Look how strong it's blowing. Okay, so in my mind, the first thing that came on my mind was Archangel Michael. And I didn't want to say anything. And I was like, don't say anything until he gives you more like information. So we're continue to talk, and I was guided to grab something to write with and write something down because I already was like had an assignment for like him to do. So I was like, do your it was three things. It was one, um, do your research when it comes to Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel. And I said, and two, figure out like what, do your research on the different guardians and which guardians are connected to these archangels. And I go, because not like it was like, it was just what I felt. And so I hand him the paper and he laughs and drops his head like, no fucking way, like the look on his face. And he goes, what you wrote down, he goes, I get that a lot. And I go, no. And the first thing, like I said a few minutes ago, was Archangel Michael. He goes, especially Archangel Michael. And I was like, no fucking way. I said, you know what? I said, I'm done. I'm ready to clock out. I was like, I'm fucking out of here. I said, because you got to be really kidding me right now. And he was like, no. So he goes, there's something I didn't tell you that I kind of basically left out intentionally because I wanted to see if you were going to grab it. I was like, what? And I was all like, what are you talking about? I said, because what, you don't need to tell me anything. I said, I can feel it. So I bust out in like full blown tears. Like I'm asking for a Kleenex right now because like I'm crying because I can feel him. You know what I'm saying? Not the fact that I feel what he goes through, but it was like I felt who he was. And it was like a soul recognizing like another soul, a being recognizing another being. And I'm like in awe. And the first thing that came out of my mouth, I was just like, it, 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 it it's an honor to meet you. It's an honor to meet you. Like I started bowing and shit. Like he's just like, nah. He's like, not me. And I said, do you not understand like what's going on like right now? I said, do you not believe like who and what like you are? And he kind of was like, yeah. And then he was kind of like, no. And I was like, dude, like you're a reincarnated like fucking like, excuse my language, archangel. I said, I'm talking to freaking Archangel Michael. Like, are you kidding me? Reincarnated in this lifetime? I said, no fucking way. This cannot. And I said, well, Tasha, you got to think about it. Like, oh, I said my name, guys. Now you guys know. Anyway, I was like, no way. Like, okay, like this is not surprising because these are the type of things that I experience. And then here I go again, getting emotional again, and I start crying again. And I was like, this is an honor for me. And it's crazy because he like was asking me like for his help and for his guidance. And I had to come out and kind of tell him who I was. And like, he was like, no way. Like, are you serious? And I said, yeah. And he was like, I said, Archangel Michael, I was like, and Gabriel, I said, like, they're my dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I work with them. And I said, matter of fact, I was like, the past couple weeks that I've been like encountering you for some reason, like before I leave home, you know, and I'm on my way to work, like I pray. And I'm always asking about Archangel Michael putting the white light of protection over me to keep any negative energies or beings like away from me, shield me with, you know, your white light. And today, and I'm like wondering why I'm like repeating this for like the past few weeks or at least a month or so. And then I say it today, and then I'm working with him today, and I'm like, I just told him, like, I work with Michael. And it's like, you guys, like, see, like, I was just blown away. And the beauty of it is that, you know, as spiritual beings, we all evolve, right? And we all awaken. And most of us are reincarnated like beings. Some of us are. That's why we're called the chosen ones. Like there's only really like 144,000 of us. And I was like, dude, I said, you're chosen. And he goes like, I know, like, he said he knows that like he's chosen because of experiences he went through. And he said that, you know, he's been raised Catholic, you know what I'm saying, most of his life, or all of his life. And he said his dad is a preacher. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. And I'm listening. And he goes, one year, I think he said he was like 15 or 18 or something like that. And it was like like a retreat thing or like a camp that they had went to. And he goes, a guy came around and would talk to everybody. He said everybody that was there, you know, were all huddled around, and he went to each person. And he goes, he went to my brother, and he told my brother that he was going to be in the service and of high rank. Well, he had told me as of right now, like his brother is serving in the service, and he is a very high rank. And I was like, no way. And then he said the guy went to his dad, and he quoted like a verse to him saying that when you cry, I will be there to carry your tears, like to catch your tears from falling. And like I could tell he was getting emotional, like his eyes started to water. And I was just looking at him like, wow. And he said from that experience, he said that he asked, like basically to like be like that person. And basically what he asked and wished for, it was like he got it. And God had gave him like a superior like title of a guardian. And he said for about close to 5 years, he said he kind of was mad at God. Because like he was like, I know what I asked for, but how dare you put like this big of a burden onto me? And then if I don't comply and do as follows, like, you know, he knows that, you know, not that there's repercussions or consequences, like he knows things can happen. And he said he witnessed that. So he goes, he felt really mad. And I said, you shouldn't be mad. I said, it's an honor, because for you to be an archangel, I said, you have a huge responsibility. I said, it's huge. You asked for it and he wouldn't give you nothing that you couldn't handle. And I said, and he's like, well, I know, like when I'm told to do something, like he tells me, go do this. And I go do it. And then when I don't go do it, he goes, yeah, something ends up happening. And then, you know what I'm saying? He goes, and I know. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Out of the nowhere, look, and it disappears. There you look, a sparrow. Okay. And so, he was like, oh, I know. Like, I'm fully aware. Like, I'm absolutely aware. And I was just like in awe. And so basically, like, he's asking me, like, to help him because I told him, you're like a baby right now. I said, you know how, like, when you're born, like a baby, like, you start from the beginning and you learn as you get older. And I said, that's how kind of like the process is when you're reincarnated. I was like, you're starting over again. And he was all like, but he had to bring me back like in human form like this. And I was like, well, yeah. I said, because you have a job to do. And I said, he brought you back in this form. I said, so that way you can learn about who Archangel Michael was and what he went through. I was like, this is out of this world right now. And I said, so this is what you're going through. And I said, embrace it. You know, I was just like, embrace what you have. And I said, that's just basically what it is. I said, you're learning, and this is the whole part of the spiritual journey and evolving and awakening, because right now at this point of time with, you know, age of Aquarius and all this, we're coming out, dude. Like, we're coming out, and we coming out and handling business out here. And I was like, and I understand that you have a job to do, but it's like he wants to find more ways to learn about like who he is. And it's just like, out of all people, like, he comes to me and asks for the help to figure out more who he is. Why? Because like, I'm knowledgeable. I work with the archangels, like, you know what I'm saying? I work with God. And for him to instill that much trust in me and ask him to help him, like, I told him, like, dude, like, I'm by your side. Like, do you understand? I told him, do you understand? Hummingbird, guys. Do you understand that usually every person has a guardian? I said, even I have like guardians. There's our guardians, there's archangels, there's ascended masters. I said, but everybody has a guardian. And I go, so, and he goes, and I understand that. But he was like, and who am I a guardian for? And it was so crazy because as soon as he said that, I was telling him, like, look around. Look around. All these people. As many people as you can help, as many people as you encounter. But then I had to look at it on a different perspective. I was like, he entered into my life. Am I actually having a moment with Archangel Michael and talking to him and helping him? Like, you see how, look at the wind is blowing. Like, how is it that I sit here and like I meet Archangel Michael, like literally in the flesh, and I'm talking to him? Like, who in the world meets like a freaking archangel as about as high as stature as I am? You know what I'm saying? And we're just sitting there like chopping it up and having a conversation about spirituality and like the things that he's going through and how I'm helping him like to understand who he is, basically. And I said, and this is like, so I feel like this is such an honor for me because it's like I get to tell him, dude, like you get to start over from ground zero and to understand who you are from a baby all the way growing up. Like the steps that you're seeing, like the things that you went through throughout your lifetime, like the things that you're experiencing. Like you got to understand these are the things that, you know what I'm saying, that he went through and that he encountered and probably didn't really have anyone to talk about. Because most people, you know, when we go through these spiritual experiences, like, you know, we don't have anyone really to talk to. You know what I'm saying, about what goes on and the things that we experience and stuff like that. And I said, that's kind of how, like, you got to look at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're learning who you are, how you became who you are, basically. And it was a beautiful conversation. And, you know, I told him, I was like, I'm right here, you know, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, you need me. I was like, I'm here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to make him feel comfortable, like he's not alone. And then back to the whole thing about the attitude, he finally came out and told me and was like, his wife said that he has an attitude or he has a temper and that he needs to get it under control. And without him even saying anything, I said, that's because she doesn't understand what you're going through. You're going through something, you're battling with something that you're trying to understand. I said, yes, it's going to make you angry. You can't talk to her and tell her like, hey, yeah, well, baby, I'm a guardian and I'm this person. And, you know, she's going to be looking at you like, what the hell? So it's like, he can't talk to her how he wants to talk to her. So when certain things go on and he has a job to do and he sees things, yes, he gets angry because he knows that's not how things are supposed to go. Mr. Archangel Michael, like, oh my goodness. Like, I was bowing and doing some old crazy shit because I was just like, oh my gosh, I just couldn't believe it. And I knew it was like real because like I get super emotional when I make like really strong connections and not that I figure it out, but like I put the pieces of the puzzle together and I'm accurate. Like I get really emotional and like I cry because it's like, oh my goodness, like this is a complete honor. Like I like wow, and it's just like I'm here to help you and to guide you through this. And I said, don't get it twisted. Like I told you guys, like I work with God, like me and God, we close. So I was like, this is no coincidence. Like this is happening. And I'm here just, and I told him, I made a joke and he kind of looked at me and I said, I'm just an angel. I said, you're a guardian. I said, your job is bigger than mine. And he looked at me like, really? And I said, I was joking, but at the same time, I was being serious. I said, but don't get the game twisted. I said, I got a hell of a fucking job out here in these streets, too. Like, I got a hell of a job. I said, but yours? I said, geez, Louise. And he told me, he goes, one of his friends, a good friend of his, like, called him out of the nowhere, like, started crying, like, bawling her tears, like, bawling her eyes out. And she told him, she's like, I don't know where it came from, but the only thing she said to me was, I don't know how you do it. She was like, you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. She was all like, my heart goes out to you and I pray for you and I love you and, you know, like I'm giving you, you know, strength and like comfort. But she was just like, I just can't, you know. And he also said to me too, while I was crying, he goes, you see that right there? He's like, what you were crying? He was all like, you felt it. And I said, I know I did. And he goes, almost saying like, well, that's what I do, or like, that's how, my energy is. And then he tells me, well, there's different kinds of guardians. And he was saying how he's a different, kind. And I said, yeah, I said, I know that. And I was like, just do your work, your homework. I said, because I was all like, you are. I said, there's more pieces to you than you think. You know what I'm saying? I can only give you so much, and then you have to do, the work to like figure it out. But whatever you were thinking and whatever that is that like you're on the money. Like he's all the way on the money. And I told him, I said, recognize who you are. I said, this is not no game. This is not no joke. I said, embrace this being that you are. I said, it's you, dude. I said, when I look at you now, he's like, now when you look at me now, you're going to be looking at me different. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm going to be looking at you different because, dude, I'm like, you up there. Like, I thought my job was difficult, but I'm just like, I said, just embrace it. I said, now that you know, and I gave you confirmation, I said, just embrace it. And I said, and everything will just come easily, for you now, to really fold into it. And I said, but there's three things that you want to do. And the things that he asked me, the three things that he told me didn't seem like that was him, like that was the ego him. You know what I'm saying? I think he really needs to get the stories and the background stories of Archangel Michael and who he was before he became, an archangel. Because it's like that's what he's going through, like, and it's just crazy. And so, yeah, guys. So that was my day today. It's been a pretty amazing day. Like, I'm still in awe of it, and I just can't wait to see what more is like to come, to experience from this. So yeah, it's 33 when I just checked. But yeah, so I hope you guys like this. Like I said, I am going to post this on my podcast, and then I'm going to leave it on my channel for a little bit for you guys to, to listen to it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace.